Hello everyone, and welcome back to Realm News. How are you all doing today? I hope you have all had a wonderful week so far. In case you do not know who I am your host, the Dark Lord. The one who puts the real in Realm and expands your mind one block at a time. In case you are new to the show, this is a podcast inspired by all things Minecraft. I relate the real world to this beloved game. Today, I am going to talk about llamas. I was inspired by the wandering trader and their llamas that they pull behind them on their leads. I have already created an entire episode on the wandering trader, which was really fun. But I never really put much thought into their companions until the making of this episode. I was also inspired by Sam Howard's book cover that depicts the wandering trader, but as a real-life human. It looks great, and you can go check that out at patreon.com/realmnews, capitalized R and N. It is going to make a great book cover for the release of the book Torvingi in the Village of Alp, which will also be included on Realm News' Patreon. Go sign up. Today, I want to explore the real-world llama in the real segment of the show by briefly reviewing their domestication and general information over the llama. Later in the episode, after pull time and the real, I will take you back to the realm and explain to you everything you need to know about the llama in the real world, or in the overworld, its history in the game, behavior, and their utility. Shall we start the show? I'll see you all there. It's poll time! Yes, it is poll time, my friends. Each week I post a poll for the Minecraft community to take and leave comments on. Today I have a really fun poll that is based off an in-game glitch, or is it a glitch? Before I read off the comments, I would like to tell you the question that I posed. Have you found a flying ship? I know how this question sounds. I know. You may be questioning my sanity, but I promise you I have found a flying ship in my overworld. In fact, I found two of them. The first time that I found one was not far from my capital city, my first city built in my 2-year-old world called Seatown. I was shocked that I had overlooked this massive object in the sky for so long. But it is rather easy to miss with the render rate on my little tablet. And since we do not have many flying creatures, there is no real reason to ever look up in the air. Unless you needed to clock the time by locating the sun, or to maybe cloud gaze perhaps. For the most part, the Minecraft sky is an empty canvas. However, one day, while I was sailing in my boat, I looked up in the air and I saw a stain in the sky, a dark blob. I knew it was something odd, and I had to investigate it. So, I built a cobblestone tower with a ladder attached to the side and made my way up to it. I did have an inkling of an idea of what it could be before I reached the floating mass. Directly under it, at the bottom of the ocean, was one half of a boat. But where was the other half? I was guessing that is what was in the air, and I was correct. It turned out to be that other half of the boat, but it was suspended in air. It looked as if it had a major malfunction while in flight, and it broke in half. Obviously, one half of it's still underwater, and the other half with whatever magic or technology that was keeping it suspended. It was interesting. It was fascinating to find, and it intensely intrigued me because I love Minecraft lore and making my own headcanon. I began to postulate that the ancients had mastered a way to fly. Somehow, they were able to get these massive boats suspended at high altitudes. These boats could not only fly, but would obviously be great for sailing on open oceans, and this would make the flying down to ports or city ports to dock a very manageable thing to do. That is just my personal side theory on the floating boats. Now, I would like to read off the results and a couple of comments I received on it. I provided two options on this poll, yes or no. The group with the least amount of votes this week is the Yes group. They received a total of 10 out of the 24 total votes. My vote was cast into this pool. This result does not shock me. I believe that flying ships are a rare phenomenon. One commenter referred to this as a glitch, but I think there's more to them than a glitch. Just like the nitwit was originally a glitch in creative mode that people were manipulating to acquire green robe villagers before Mojang put them into the game. Perhaps this will be like the creeper or the nitwit, and they will just flush it into the overworld as another mystery for us to theorize over. Just an opinion. Now moving on. The No group was the winner this week in terms of most votes. They had 14 votes. I believe they won for the same reason that the Yes group lost. They are a rare find. It is just that simple. Not too many people stumble upon such an odd sight. Also, as I have already mentioned, they are very high up in the air. My suspended boats are about 180 blocks in the air. My first encounter with one was in the open ocean, so I was not focused on what was in the sky. I imagine I was gazing down into the water as I made my way across the ocean. Now, let's move on to comments. I do not have too many this week, unfortunately. I shall start with Trainlord TF. Quote, found two randomly right beside my base while building. I guess updates can mess with not manipulated chunks. Otherwise, I have no explanation how they got there since they just appeared one day, end quote. I was curious to what they did with them, so I asked, quote, did you do anything with them, end quote. And they responded back saying, no, just removed them. So they did nothing fun with them. I can't say anything because all I did was put a bed and a chest in one of mine and called it a home. It looks blah and bare. I really need to go back to my floating ships and maybe make a floating village or maybe some palaces for myself up there. I have one more comment that I would like to read off from a person who goes by Smog the Great 110, who says, quote, no, but I did find this fun little thing yesterday, smiley face, end quote. And they sent me a photo attached to that text I just read off with this amazing shipwreck that is not in the sky, but is in a huge tide pool that I imagine is now a permanent pond to this desert village. It looks super cool. I asked them if they were going to do anything with it, but they said no. They had to fly 50,000 blocks before they found this amazing shipwreck. So I don't really blame them because that's a long ways away from your civilization. I just wanted to share that with you all because this is a good example of the No group not being able to find anything. It's rare to find these objects in the sky. It's just super rare. I went ahead and did a little digging into these floating ships to see what they were exactly. I found on bugs.mojang.com that this is technically an unresolved bug that was reported back since versions 1.18 and beyond. The bug is called MCPE-149197, and according to this report, it has been confirmed and is still being investigated by Mojang. Who knows when this quote-unquote bug or quote-unquote glitch will ever be removed. I honestly don't think it will be. I think it adds some spice to the game and makes the player think. Mojang has allowed glitches to become integrated as part of the game in the past. The most famous glitch is the Creeper, who is now the game's mascot, or the Nitwit, who many people dislike, but it did start off as a glitch. I would like to leave the floating shipwrecks in the game. I just think it's fun to come across and it adds more depth to the overworld. You can find the link to that bug report at Realm News' Patreon. I cleaned it all up. I turned that report into a legible, easy to read report for you all, instead of this ugly technical looking report that they release. I hate the way they look. I hope you all enjoy it. It's just a little bit more clear. Now let's close up poll time and go into the real Bienvenue, mes amis. We are in the reel where I am going to discuss the llama. I found a great article at Britannica.com titled Llama. The article goes on to say that the llama's scientific nomenclature is Glama, which I had to fact check that. It just sounded so made up to me. Glama. Okay, yeah, moving on. It goes on to state that the Glama, or just plain llama as we know them, were descendants from the domesticated species called guanaco. Llama guanaco. And the llama, in case you were thinking this already, is indeed part of the camel family called Camelidae. It is just missing the signature hump that a camel has. For further specification, all types of llamas fall into the llamoid group. I would like to now shift over to another article that further describes the physical characteristics of llamas, found at costlyzoo.com under the title Llama. The llama is very much similar to the camel. You can see the similarities in the face, with the split upper lip and a round nose, just like the camel. They also have long necks along with a stubby tail. The big difference that separates the two is that the camel has a hump and the llama does not. Another interesting attribute is the llama has a thick wool that can come in a variety of colors, such as red, beige, brown, and gray. Llamas are not petite creatures either. They can range from 5 to 6 feet tall, or for my metric friends, 1.5 to 1.8 meters, and weigh around 250 to 450 pounds as adults. Llamas, as I mentioned, and I apologize, I did not get that in kilograms. So sorry, my metric friends. Anyways, llamas, as I mentioned, while explaining their family tree, were domesticated from guanacos, their ancestors. The guanacos were domesticated in the mountainous terrain of Peru approximately 5,000 years ago, or around 4,500 BCE, according to boisestate.edu. People had many great reasons to domesticate the guanaco into the llama. They provide so many useful resources, such as the variety of different colored wool described a moment ago. Well, people take that wool to create clothes, rope, and other textiles. The llama's hide can be used to make leather, the fat for candle making, and meat for food. Even the llama's dung can be used as fuel. You can see that the llama provided many essential materials to ancient South Americans and still does today, and to many people across the world. Llamas were not only used as a resource, but they served vital functions for protecting livestock such as goats and sheep. One defense mechanism of the llama is to spit, which you would all know if you have accidentally hit a llama in Minecraft. Yes, the llama will spit at predators as a defense. If it is not spitting in defense, then it is spitting to demonstrate its dominance over other llamas. It goes on to say that it is very rare for llamas to spit at a human, which is just great to know. The llama will more than likely see a predator that is approaching, but because it has eyes on the side of its head, allowing it a greater range of view than what we humans have. Its wool also acts as a soft shield of sorts because of how thick it is, making it tough for predators to get a grip. It's tough to bite, I suppose. It also helps that the llama can sprint up to 40 miles per hour, which is just insane to me. So, the llama, as cute as it is, can defend itself and protect a group of livestock. I would like to tell you what I discovered in a really old National Geographic article titled Guard Llamas Keep Sheep Safe from Coyotes by Cameron Walker, dated June 10th, 2003. I found it to be utterly fascinating to read how effective guard llamas are at their jobs. A quote from this article from William Franklin, Professor Emeritus at Iowa State University at the time this article was written, said, quote, "Any place where a coyote could come in, people are starting to use llamas," end quote. And that, quote, "it makes the wildlife biologist happy because it's a balance of nature," end quote. The article goes on to state that according to Professor Franklin's research, which was based off of contacting sheep ranchers who employed llamas as a method to thwart off candids like wolves, coyotes, foxes, and wild dogs, that after conducting his research, he noted half of those ranchers reported 100% of their sheep assaults had been resolved after putting out guard llamas. Llamas have their telltale signs of when a predator is seen. They will emit a heinous cry that supposedly sounds like a rusty hinge creaking. So, naturally, I had to look up a video on what a distressed llama sounds like, and they're right. They're very right. Sounds very much like a loud, rusty hinge. It is not a pleasant sound at all. I'll leave that link at the Realm News Patreon page. So, they will alarm the herd and other llamas by making this sound when they see a predator. If the predator does not heed at the alarm, it will then attack the wolf, coyote, or whatever other else predator that's attempting to harm its flock. It will do so by spitting at it, placing themselves between the herd and the threat, run at the threat, and kick at it. Llamas have been known to injure dogs and coyotes and even kill them in order to protect themselves and their herd. But llamas are also used as therapy animals, such as emotional dogs are used in classrooms. Same thing with llamas, just in a different aspect. I like that the llama is both a fierce protector and a soothing therapeutic animal. It's just a very versatile creature. Let's move on. The llama is also able to carry up to 25 to 30% of its weight, which makes them perfect as a pack animal for toting and carrying items for long distances in high altitude environments. However, they can't carry humans. The llama has environmentally friendly feet as well, with 2 toes on each foot. Unlike horses and goats, they have soft, fleshy, sensitive feet that make them more sure-footed when they walk. Sure-footed, meaning that they pay attention to what they walk on because it could damage them. This sure-footedness forces the llamas to create less damage to the environment when walking on Earth. This sensitivity does not stop them from being extremely agile on rocky, uneven surfaces and at high altitudes. In fact, the llama has a high concentration of hemoglobin in its bloodstream, which allows it to absorb oxygen more effectively in high elevations. I would like to move on to another source that provided a lot of great info on llamas. It is titled "Llamas Are Having a Moment in the U.S., but They've Been Icons in South America for Millennia." Published March 8th, 2021, found at boisestate.edu. It goes on to explain that llamas were vital to the Incan Empire's economy. Not only did the Incas use the llama's wool for making rugs, rope, clothes, and other textiles, but they also used it as a form of currency. They were used to transport goods across the entire Incan Empire that had a road network consisting of 25,000 miles of roads. That's 40,233 kilometers. That's a lot of road to haul goods on, folks. I mean, that's a lot of road. Llamas have not gone unrecognized for their use over the millennia. Peruvians have acknowledged the llama's importance for hundreds of years. Archaeologists have found sacrificed mummified alpacas and llamas buried with precious objects such as silver, beads, and wool. The amazing thing about the discovery of these mummified llamas is that archaeologists, after much analysis, have determined that llama breeders back then were producing the finest wool on the planet. It was much finer than today's cashmere. Unfortunately, this fine llama wool disappeared when conquistadors entered South America with their guns and diseases. Many of the llamas and alpacas died from imported European disease. As a result, the llamas with the pedigree that carried the fine wool gene had become extinct and lost in time. Today, the Peruvian people still have much respect for their llamas. Allow me to quote this article found at boisestate.edu. Quote, "Herders in Peru's Ayacucho region region believe that their llama and alpaca flocks do not belong to them. They're the property of the quote-unquote Wamani, spirits that reside within waters or mountain peaks, end quote. I thought that was really neat to read. I enjoy reading that there are cultures on Earth that actually respect the planet and the animals living on it. I also thought it was interesting that they believe that the llamas belong to spirits residing on mountain peaks or in the water. Just very cool. Something else I find interesting is that if you visit an Andean town in Peru or even Bolivia today, then you'll more likely see llamas dressed up in colorful outfits. This is a long-standing cultural practice performed by Bolivians and Peruvians alike. They do this as a way to show reverence and respect to the llama. It is done to exhibit the llama's power as well. Today, the llama in the United States can be found in all 50 states, but their population has been on the decline since 2002. For example, in 2002, there were around 145,000 llamas in the USA. Compare that to the 2017 number of 40,000. That is a 105,000 llama decrease in 15 years. Otherwise, a 72% reduction in that 15-year span of time. Supposedly, the reason behind this is that llama wool and meat was and is not culturally popular here in the United States. It's simply just a cultural issue is what I'm trying to say. We may see that start to change, though. I say that because llamas have been discovered to have unique nanobodies. Their nanobodies are much smaller in comparison to ours, and this may make it a good candidate to create new medicines against future strains of COVID and potentially help treat cystic fibrosis. The llama has been extremely beneficial to humans throughout history and remains so today, especially for societies in South America. I hope that you all found that information that I gathered over the llama to be very interesting, like I did. I wanted a deeper understanding of that mammal and just to know what it was about before we entered the realm. That way I could give you a little bit of a cross comparison of the real llama and the fictitious llama that resides in the overworld. With that said, let's make our transition over to the realm right now. Everyone, I would like to welcome you to the realm, where I am here to tell you everything that you would ever want to know about the Minecraft llama. And I was shocked by not only its history, but by its uses in the game. Let's start with a bit of history right from the head of Mojang themselves, like I do sometimes. There's a lot of quotes by Jens Bergensten, and I found a great quote at Minecraft.net written by Tom Stone titled Meet the Llama, dated April 18th, 2017. In this article is a quote that I would like to read to you all from Jens Bergensten, the Chief Creative Officer at Mojang himself. Quote, "For every major release, we try to add one new animal. So I thought it was time to add the alpaca. But when I was talking here at the office, it seemed like more people were asking for a llama, Junk Boy included. So I made this Twitter poll, and the llama won. I handed over the task of actually making them to Agnes Larson, and essentially I told her to make sure the llama is clearly different. The main difference is actually that alpacas have very soft wool, and llamas have a slightly harder wool. We made llamas more beasts of burden so you can put chests on them, and they can form caravans when you pull them. We wanted to make sure you could swag them out so you can put a carpet on them, and they will get these nice costumes. They're actually used as guards for sheep farmers because they attack wolves, and wolves get scared by them because they essentially think, quote, "What the hell's wrong with this sheep?" end quote, and run away in real life. They are used as sheep guards, so that's why we made them attack wolves. End quote, Jens Bergensten. I am glad that we have an archive of quotes found in these countless Minecraft.net articles written over the years. They're very handy to me. They are very useful and just give a ton of insight. I like hearing the developers' thoughts on mobs, and this statement gave a behind-the-scenes look into Jeb's mind. He wanted alpacas, but they ultimately decided to go with llamas and make them a pack animal that forms caravans. Just clever. I really think that is just a great idea. And I like how Jeb decided to do it based off a Twitter poll. I dug that poll up from Minecraft.wiki, and it is a really old one. It's dated to July 26, 2016, nearly 9 years old. This garnered 20,250 votes. He provided two options to choose from, llama or alpaca. The llama clearly won because you can see it in the overworld today. It won in the poll with 58.5% of the votes, and the alpaca earned 41.5% of the pie. They officially added the llama to Minecraft on November 14th, 2016 in the 1.11 exploration update. And it's here to stay, my friends. Jeb may have made a poll including the llama, but I bet you didn't know that this was Agnes Larsson's, the game director at Mojang, first mob that she designed for Minecraft. I thought that was really cool. She was inspired by a real-life llama named Adrian that she visited at a zoo, I believe, to help design the Minecraft llama. So thank Adrian out there. Hopefully Adrian's still alive. I believe I read they live about 15 years, llamas. Let me tell you what the llama looks like. The llama is a neutral, tameable mob that comes in 4 different colored types of wool: brown, creamy, gray, and white. Very similar to the real-world colors of wool I listed off earlier: red, beige, brown, and gray. According to Minecraft.wiki, an adult stands at 1.87 blocks tall and is 0.9 blocks wide. A baby llama is 0.935 blocks tall and is 0.45 blocks wide, so about half the size of an adult. Llamas are found in several different biomes in the overworld. This includes some sub-biomes as well, being windswept hills, windswept forests, windswept gravelly hills, savanna plateau, savanna, and the windswept savanna. They're in one of those biomes. You should encounter a llama. I'm hoping you will. They're fairly common to come by. Well, you should encounter them in herds of 4, actually, I should say. So make sure to bring some leads with you. That way you can take them back to your base or village and breed them. These mobs are a little more unique when it comes to breeding than other mobs that I have told you about on the show. In order to breed 2 adult llamas, you'll need hay bales. Yes, I know, it's a little more expensive than your run-of-the-mill cow. It takes 2 hay bales. I can't say that word. It takes 2 hay bales to breed the 2 adult llamas together. You feed 1 hay bale each to one each to each adult. The offspring will spawn with one of the 2 adults' colors of wool, along with 1 to 7 XP orbs dropping for you to gather up. Also, something that I thought was interesting is that llamas have a strength range in the game. This range is passed down to their offspring. Allow me to explain. Llamas have a strength range between levels 1 and 5, 1 being the lowest strength and 5 being the maximum. This also affects how wolves react to llamas, because llamas will attack an untamed wolf without provocation, and a wolf will typically run from a llama when they see them, unless they are weak. Then they have a lower probability of running away. The strength meter is essentially how healthy the llama is. You can strengthen your llama by feeding it wheat. The baby llama, when born, will take on the strength between 1 and whatever the strongest parent's strength level is at. Yes, apparently, strength is inherited when it comes to Minecraft llamas. For example, if the strongest parent is at strength level 5, then the baby will have a strength between 1 and 5. It does have a small percentage of having a strength 1 level higher than their parent, but it cannot go above the maximum level of 5. Let's say the strongest parent is at a strength of 3, hypothetically. The baby has a small percent of spawning with a strength level of 4, if not 3. I thought that was all just rather interesting to learn. I had no idea that there was a strength system in place until reading this. Hay can also be used to increase baby llama or adult llama's strength. 1 wheat will increase a llama's health by 2 points or 1 heart, and its temper by 3. This will speed up a baby llama's growth to adulthood by 10 seconds every time you feed it a piece of wheat. If you want to increase health and the baby maturing to adulthood even faster than feeding it one individual piece of wheat, then feed them a hay bale. This will heal a llama by 10 points or 5 hearts and speed the baby llama's growth by 1 minute and 30 seconds, which you may want to speed up their growth. It depends on your patience because baby llamas take 20 minutes to mature into an adult, which is a full day in the overworld. Also, this will increase its temper by 6. You may be asking, quote, what is this temper in these numbers? Well, llamas have something called a temper value. This determines whether or not they are tamed. This temper ranges from 0 and 30. Allow me to explain. A llama has a random temper range before you try to tame it. For a hypothetical, let's say 15 for this imaginary llama. Now, every time you try to ride it in order to tame it, you, as a player, will be assigned a random number. If this number is, say, 10, then the llama will become tame on your first attempt. But if you randomly get assigned 20, exceeding its temper, it will buck you off and increase its temper by 5 points. It is always increased by 5 points. So, it appears that you could be bucked off a max of 6 times before taming the beast. However, feeding it wheat or hay bales will increase its temper and make it faster to tame. I thought that was just all very fascinating to learn, and hopefully that'll help you out. I should also point out that these numbers are not shown. The llama's temper and the random number you are assigned are completely invisible, okay? Now, let me explain to you their behaviors. Llamas, as I have already stated, are considered to be neutral mobs that roam the overworld. However, the llama is not a defenseless creature, just like in the real world. They will actually chase down wolves and spit at them. Their spit will damage a foe by 1 point or half a heart. They will attack anything that attacks them, and that includes you. Llamas can also swim, which is convenient for transporting goods long distances. The llama will float in water that is deeper than 2 blocks, and llamas can sustain fall damage by twice the height compared to most mobs that will take damage after falling 3 blocks. That means the llama can fall 6 blocks before taking damage, and when it does take fall damage, it is less than other mobs. It is only half of that of other mobs that take fall damage. I like that Mojang designed them to be like real-life llamas. Not that real-life llamas can fall a long way and be all right, but they evolved in the South American Peruvian mountains and are adapted to that steep environment. Another unique behavior that they exhibit that I found to be pretty cool is that they will form caravans if you leash one. Yes, if you put one on a lead, then there is the possibility of nearby llamas following behind the one you are leading. One llama on a lead can attract a maximum of 9 llamas. However, you are not limited to how many llamas you can put onto leads. So you could attract many, many llamas if you truly desired. You could be leading 9 llamas, and so just think about it. You could have 20 llamas on leads, 100 llamas on leads, and then they would attract a max each of 9, and that'd be 900 llamas? Wow. That would be insane to see somebody marching the overworld with a 900 llama caravan. Anyways, you are not limited to how many llamas you put on leads, so you would just be attracting like crazy. But what good is a caravan if you can't use it for anything? If you want to put them to use, then you need to equip them with chests for storage, and that's easy to do. All you have to do is craft a chest, then approach your llama with it in your hand, and hit the control button to equip it. The chest will then go onto the llama, and you will see the chests on each side of the llama acting like saddlebags on a motorcycle. The chest, like many other things that have to do with the llama, is based on the strength system. I keep going back to that. The strength of the llama depicts how many slots the chest will contain. This can range from 3 to 15 slots depending on strength, which kind of makes sense. I have that information actually right here that I found at Minecraft.wiki. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read it off. In wild llamas, the distribution of strength levels is as following here. Strength level 1, the probability is 32.8% that you'll get 3 slots. That's actually the bare minimum you can get. Strength level 2, 32.8% probability of getting 6 slots, which is double. That's better. And let's go ahead and do a strength level 3. And again, 32.8% of getting 9 slots. So even better there. Let's do a strength level 4, and it drops drastically. You only get a fraction of a percent, 0.8% probability to be precise, that you'll get 12 slots for your llama. And then the last strength level, being 5, is the same. Probability of 0.8% of the maximum inventory slot of 15. So there you have it. Once the chest is equipped, you can't detach it from the llama unless you kill it. Just want to give you that caveat. So I hope you are not attached to that chest, at least for the llama's sake. Something that took me a moment to figure out was how to open the chest once it is put on the llama. I will save you the headache of figuring that out by telling you that you have to be in the crouched position in order to access it. Do you recall I mentioned that people in Peru and Bolivia adorn their llamas as a way to express their respect and reverence for them? Well, I want to move on and tell you that you can do the same thing in Minecraft. I absolutely love what I'm about to tell you. You could put a carpet on a tamed llama. There is a carpet slot that each one possesses. Each different colored wool carpet will have a different pattern when put on the llama. I will have a pic of all the carpet colors and the patterns associated on Realm News Patreon. Go check it out at patreon.com/Realm News, capital R, capital N, and tell me your favorite color pattern. In fact, some people have already done that. They've left some comments, and it was really fun to hear what their opinions were on it. So please, go tell me. Go be a member. I said on there that my favorite is the gray wool carpet pattern. I just think that looks great with the light pastel colors and the checkerboard pattern. Now, I would like to tell you about one last type of llama before wrapping up this week's episode. That would be the trader llama. Yes, I could not forget the iconic Wandering Trader's llama. If you have ever seen a Wandering Trader, which I'm willing to bet you have, then you would have seen their familiars. I'm referring to the 2 llamas that accompany them. The trader llama, like the regular domesticated or wild overworld llama, will spawn in one of the 4 colored furs: creamy, brown, gray, and white. In fact, there's nothing different with the trader llama in comparison to the regular overworld llama, except for their attire and the fact that they spawn with the wandering trader. The trader llama has a very unique carpet that it adorns. It matches the wandering trader's wardrobe. Its colors consist of gold, blue, and red, and even has a hat with the same colors that drapes over its head. You as the player are able to obtain the trader llama for yourself. Let me tell you, it just requires you to somehow make the wandering trader drop the lead that it is attached to. You have to figure out what are you going to do to make it get rid of that lead. Once that happens, you can tame it the same way as you tame any other llama. That's simple. Also, if you breed 2 trader llamas together, their offspring will be born with the same unique attire as the parents. I thought that was just interesting. You could have whole farms or ranches with trader llamas with this carpet pattern. That would look, I think, pretty cool. And I did not know that little tidbit of information until doing the research. So I may be breeding trader llamas soon in my world, just for the aesthetic. That brings me to the end of what I have to say on llamas, folks. The llama is a very fascinating animal that humans have been interacting with for thousands of years. They are revered in Peru and Bolivia and can be found around the world. They are in all 50 states in the United States of America and are used primarily on ranches in the West where they protect herds of sheep from wolves, coyotes, and other predators. The llama has also been a valuable resource to humans in the form of meat, milk, fur, and hide. Also, in Minecraft, we can obtain their leather hides when they die and use that to craft a myriad of items. The llama is well depicted in the game, for it also will defend itself by spitting and rushing on wolves when they see them. You can adorn the Overworld llama with a carpet with your choice of color, and it will create a unique pattern on it. This can be a great way to make your llamas easily identifiable for storage systems or for the fun of it. The llama, with its ability to sustain long falls and swim, makes it the perfect mob for transporting goods across the overworld. I hope that this episode got you all amped up to find some llamas and to start using them. I know that I will. I think I'm going to start collecting those trader llamas and breeding them. That's all I have on llamas today, folks. I wish you all a great rest of your week and happy crafting. I hope to see you all at Realm News' Patreon, where you will find content that I don't post on my other social accounts. And I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at Realm News Flash and Thursdays for Realm News. The Dark Lord signing out. Hello, Realm News fans. I just want to pop back in here and just tell you all how much I appreciate you for listening to the show. It means the world to me that you tune in every week to hear me. The Dark Lord. The one who puts the real in realm and expands your mind one block at a time. I am honored to be your host and to be able to deliver you weekly original Minecraft content with Realm News Flash and Realm News on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you enjoy the show, I would love it if you would tell your friends about it and tell them to follow it. Hit that like button and leave a comment. I know that on Spotify you can leave comments on individual episodes. Same on Good Pods. I'm not sure on the other podcast player platforms out there, but I appreciate feedback. So please comment if you're able to. If you cannot comment wherever you listen to Realm News, then you can by following Realm News at either its Twitter, now X, Blue Sky, Reddit, or email, which is all found at bio.link/Realm News, all lowercase. Again, that is bio.link/Realm News. There, you can become a Realm News Patreon member. I urge you all to sign up to the Copper or Diamond tier membership and get early access to episodes, bonus episodes, newsletters, and ebooks. Yes, you're going to receive entire ebooks. Find my prices at my Patreon link, all found at bio.link/Realm News. I put in about 30 hours a week in research, writing, editing, marketing, recording, social media, and much, much more in creating and keeping this show running. The donations would help me eventually give up my second job and hopefully my full-time other job so I can focus more on this podcast and deliver more content with better quality to you. That's the dream. I want to make this full-time. I understand times are tough and I don't expect anyone to give me more money or any money. I am just saying that if you are able to, it is very much appreciated. However, you can show your appreciation by just listening, liking, following, or recommending the show, as I said earlier. That means more than you would ever know. With that said, I wish you all happy crafting, and I look forward to talking to you at the next Realm News. The Dark Lord signing out.